Hello, everybody. This is Brett Davis coming to you from the Brett Davis podcast, of course, from the Attorney King studio in Coronado. That's why I'm wearing the King hat. I'm not a King myself, but I support my sponsor. So, King, thank you for being a gracious sponsor in our studio and all the things that you do. And I look forward to doing that wonderful farm to table. We're building a farm at Chula Vista High School for the students, and then we're going to use the produce and sell it to the cafeteria so the students can see the process of what the farming entails, because I think there's a lot of people forgetting about all that stuff. But it's great to have you here, Angelica Muller with Bay Books Coronado, a store that I frequent. I go there a lot. I take my kids there because it's a place where you go and you feel like it's family, and they always have a great selection. I can tell you, every time I go there, my wife gets mad at me. She says, "Why did you is this debit card so high today?" And I said, "Well." So, Angelica, how are you doing today?
We're doing great, actually. We survived these crazy 2 years, and we're still in business. So we're just grateful and for the support we have received from the community that we're still here after 30 years in business.
So, you've had the bookstore for 30 years.
We opened the book in 1992, before we have internet, before there was the iPhones, before Amazon. And let me tell you, it's been quite a ride. Um, I took over the managing of the bookstore about 12 years ago when we were getting ready to close the store because the business was just not there. The competition was just too difficult with all the electronic devices. So I quit my job as a CFO of an investment firm, and I decided to take a shot at it. I said, I'm going to save this store. And I came in and we reorganized. We added gifts, we added some toys, we added additional products. As you're aware, Brett, books have a very low margins.
Right.
And without the support of the community, we would not be able to make it. I always tell customers, if you go to Amazon, you save $1, but we lose a store. We lose the opportunity to come and browse. And I think people in Coronado are very aware of that, and they're very supportive. And we're just so grateful that we have this community. We would not be able to make it without them.
Well, here's another question, because Coronado is a tourist destination, and a lot of people do come to Coronado because it's a beautiful city. How many people do you think, percentage wise, are from other places other than Coronado?
Oh, very significant, especially the summer times. Actually, summer times and Christmas is the only time that we make any money. The rest of the year we lose money. But those 3 months of summer and the December breaks, that really help us to stay afloat. So to us, it's extremely important, very, very significant. When we move the store, they offer us a location not in Orange Avenue. And we told the landlord, we cannot make it. If we're not in Orange Avenue, we would not make it. So we were lucky to have the location that we have.
So 30 years, a lot of ups and downs, a lot of challenges. Why do you continue to do what you do?
Books is a passion. We have employees that have been with us for 20 years, and all of us work not because we're making a lot of money, but because we really love books. And it's such a beautiful job. You're informed. You're up to the news. You get all the books you can read for free, which is a great benefit for employees. And it's just such a beautiful location. It's such a beautiful job that you just get a turnaround. Just tell you a story. When we were moving the store, we closed the children's area because we were, moving all the boxes. We had kids coming into the store, running to the back of the store crying, saying, "Where is my stuff?" And I think that it's really a job and a passion. Otherwise, don't get into the book business. Believe me, just it's like a passion. Like you do painting. You paint because you love art, or you play a violin because you love music, not necessarily because you're going to be a virtuoso. And I think that books is you have to take that philosophy, otherwise you will not make it.
So you've added some varieties of things in this new bookstore that you didn't have before. Can you tell us what they are?
One of the things that we were able to talk to the city is because the rents, we had like 5,000 square feet, and we went to a 2,600 square foot store, twice the rent
Wow.
of what we used to
Why?
pay,
Why?
because the whole block was purchased. So the new developer came in, remodeled some of the locations, and we lost our original lease, And when we have tried to find a new location with the same landlord, the costs have doubled. So we reduced the size of the store to half the size. We kept, luckily, the inventory that we had, and we just uh, more selective in the type of added products that we have. But one of the things that we did, Brett, is we went to the city and we told them we cannot afford these rents as a bookstore. So just help us. We need to offer something else, at least to compensate part of the rents. So they gave us a permission to open a coffee shop. The coffee shop is now managed by Bona Forchetta, but they pay and help us pay the rent of the bookstore,
Really?
which is to us, it's very, very important to stay alive.
Well, that was actually very wise on your part. So rather than trying to learn the coffee business, which I have a feeling that anything you put your mind to, you can do. What you did is you realized that, look, I don't want to do the coffee thing. I don't want to do the
I don't want to
pastry
be running
thing.
around looking for milk or donuts
Right.
at 6 o'clock in the morning.
So
See, with books,
you reached
the
out to
beauty of
them.
books. Yeah.
What made you decide to go and reach out to them?
Actually, we're fairly good friends, and we start running the coffee by ourselves. And then we decided this is not our field. Our field
Right.
is books. So
Right.
let's turn up, give this portion of the business to somebody else that runs restaurants, that has the supply chain, that knows the business, that have the employees, and the only reason we opened the coffee shop is to help us with rents.
Well,
So the success of the coffee shop for us is essential to be able to stay on business.
well, it's nice to be able to have a cup of coffee and read a book.
And
And
they go together so well,
don't they?
of course.
So what other advantages do you feel that Bay Books has over like the big chain stores?
For example, when you go to Costco, you have the top 20 books, and that's about it. The advantage of independent bookstores, Brett, is that you're exposed to all sorts of books and no biases. We buy the top 40s, top 50 books. Or fiction is very, very strong. We have books that you're not going to find it, for example, in a drugstore. You're not going to find in Costco. We just got the latest novel of Ishiguro. It's a Japanese writer that Nobel Prize winner. I mean, those type of books, you're not going to find them in just the top 10. So one of the advantage of independent bookstores is you have an exposure, number one, to selected books. Most of our employees are amazing readers. So most of our books are recommended by our staff. So you walk in the store, you're buying something that we know is good. And we're telling you, I mean, this is everything we have. If you don't have it, we order for you. You have that customized service. And that's the difference.
How do people find time nowadays? Because I'll be honest with you, I love to read. And if anything, I wish I had more time to read. I love to read.
I think
How
it's
do
a
you find the
challenge.
time?
Mhm.
How do you find the time to do that? And has what do you call it? Books on what's it called? Where they talk to you with the talking books. What's it called? The
Oh yeah, the
digital.
electronic or all the tools that you have to be able to just have the audios. I think for our generation, Brad, is I have this book anxiety. I cannot travel if I don't have a book with me.
Me
I
either.
just have, even if I just sometimes just travel with it just to go, just to the emotions of having something to support me.
That's what
But
I like.
I think
That's
for
what
new generations,
right.
it's so critical, especially for children, to develop that passion for books, that the reading. Reading gives you that space in your mind because we're so bombarded with electronics. We're
Yes.
so bombarded with the iPhones. We're so bombarded. And unfortunately, a lot of the people are receiving the news from Facebook or from Instagram. And that's very sad because your mind is just very little time span to focus on anything. And I think the book gives you that break from that bombardment of information to just take the time to reflect or to get involved into a real story.
Mm-hmm. It's kind of funny that
we have to have that time, and it's difficult. I totally agree with you. It gets harder and harder, but we have to have the discipline, especially with our younger generations.
yes, I find that I like to travel, not just to travel because when I travel, it breaks my daily whatever you
Mhm.
want to call it up. And I always have one or two books. And if I don't, I go to bookstores wherever I'm traveling and I look for
Mhm.
interesting things that you can't just find everywhere. I would look for stuff. a bookstore similar to yours, which is very hard to find nowadays.
Oh, it's very hard. I mean, we're like dinosaurs. You know, you find one and you go, "Wow, I found this independent little bookstore that's still alive." And again, the only reason we're still alive because everybody that works there, we don't depend only on that income. So, most of us are already retired, or some of my employees have husbands that retired from the military. But it's a business that is it's extremely tough. Extremely tough. Margins on books are 35%. I mean, that's it. So you offer a discount of 15 for top 15 and you only have 15%, and 15% to pay rent and salaries is just barely makes it. You will have to have tremendous volumes to.
What would be nice is if bookstores or businesses that are unique like yours, art galleries, things like that are doing really good things for the community, had better breaks on employee taxes and rents and all those types of things, because uh, it doesn't behoove the state to make it the same for everybody when somebody is a different type of business that is like yours is a seasonal type of thing. Like you just said, there's Christmas and then there's the
And
summertime.
then in summertime, that's it.
It would be
One
nice
of
if
the,
if
uh-huh.
if, if there was
I
more. Yeah, if there's more of a break to say, hey, you know what, we're going to give you grant money to continue to run this bookstore. I mean, I may say, I don't know if I'm overstepping my boundaries by saying that, but because we don't want you to go away, we need you.
No, some people have recommended for us to make it a nonprofit because we're a nonprofit anyway. So why don't you
Well,
make it a nonprofit? And I think that's an avenue that we have to consider because it's hard enough as it is. And eventually I will retire, and I don't think I have the generation behind me to be able to take over. And I don't imagine a town like Coronado without a bookstore.
well, without
Uh,
without your bookstore.
it's just crazy. I mean, when we think of culture, uh, what it tells you about a town that you don't have a bookstore is dramatic. And I think we're going, and unfortunately, in many towns in the United States, we're going in that direction. And it's sad. And I think that's why the community is so strong. When we were closing a store, Brett, you cannot imagine the outpour of support that we have. We
Mhm.
have customers coming in and offer their pickups to move or books. They
Of
said, we
course.
come in and help you pack. Uh, we had volunteers coming in and help us move. The point of support was amazing. And like I told my husband, we cannot close. He goes,
No.
but why do you want to continue with this? You're getting ready to retire. I can continue it because I love it. And as long as we have this passion, somebody's going to have a passion after me. I'm sure. The business
Well,
deserves this.
I'll tell you, passion for what you do is very rare. It's probably maybe the top 10% or less of the
Mhm.
population that does what they really love to do. Everybody
We all
else
in my
is,
family, we've been in financial services. As you know, I was a CFO for an investment firm and very successful. And to the point that my passion for books is 10 times stronger than it was for an investment firm. That was not my business. I was an employee, a high paid employee, good job, but it was not the passion. So when I
you,
quit and I told them I'm going to run a bookstore, my own bookstore, they thought I was crazy. How can you leave this to go run a bookstore? Yeah, well, yeah, I think it makes sense.
it's a great story,
So
phenomenal story.
I still people think that like, I'm crazy for doing what I did, but I say I get all the books for free. I have my free coffee. I sit outside at 10 a.m. in the morning and enjoy the day.
So what surprises or things have you come up with or adapted to with the whole pandemic?
One of the things that we did, Brett, is because people were not going out, we joined what is called bookshop.org. Bookshop.org supports independent bookstores to order online, and we get some credit for those purchases. So we joined that association, and that's really competing with Amazon. And we're telling people when you shop online, go to bookshop.org Coronado because you're supporting the local bookstore. You're still ordering online, you're still gonna get your book at home, but we getting a little bit of the sale, not the whole sale, but at least we get a portion. But if you
Something.
go to Amazon, we don't get anything. We just to tell you a story, we get some people that come in to the store, read the reviews that we have for our employees, take a picture of the book, And then they leave, and we ask them, why you don't buy the book? Oh no, I just come in to get reviews and see what I want, and I usually order from Amazon. And we go, you're saving a few dollars. It's not worth it, and
Right.
you're hurting your business. I mean,
Right.
support the local businesses. I think that awareness, it needs to be highlighted more and more.
So the question will be is you're hearing things about robotics
Mm-hmm.
and replacing people, jobs. I mean, we're seeing it happen gradually at the grocery stores where, the checkers are disappearing. And a lot of these truck drivers eventually are going to be not
Mm-hmm.
driving trucks. They're going to be robots driving
We
all these
just got.
things.
You're gonna love this book. I'm gonna recommend it for you. The one I was mentioning, Ishiguro, is called Carla and the Sun. In this book, this is a Japanese parents that buy a robotic babysitter to make companion for their kid, and this babysitter is more human in their feelings and their perception of life than the actual humans. And it's a fantastic read. I mean, you will love the book. It's a fantastic read because it kind of a sort of a direction. We don't have the robotic babysitter, but we have iPads, and we see all these 2 and 3 years old and they're in their cars with these iPads, which is just kind of a simulation of where we're going. And yes, I think we need to be aware to what extent we want robotics and to what extent we want free thinking and independence.
Sure. I think the robotic thing is more. There's more of a surge going on in Japan right now than any other place right now.
Mm-hmm.
I've been hearing
But
stories.
it's a reality. It's
Right.
a reality. And I think we're going to see more and more, especially in low labor jobs.
Yeah.
I was the manager for a maquiladora for many years for Honeywell for 18 years. And I opened a factory in Tijuana, 3,000 employees,
Wow.
because we could do a lot of manual labor, and a lot of the labor was just way too expensive to do in United States or in the first world. And eventually, some of that very intensive labor became automated, because it was just, even with that lower cost labor, it was not possible to maintain the trends.
I
So
think
yes, it's a reality for all businesses.
where I was going with this whole thing is you're such a personal, feel good place where people go and they get answers and they get. I can't see a robotic situation in your type of store because it's so humanistic.
It's the human touch is probably at least 70% of the experience. Being
I
able to
agree.
talk to someone and to, especially with books, that you don't want to waste your eyes. There's so much trash out there. I mean, some books you open it, doesn't grab you, leave it. Don't waste your time.
It's true.
There's so much good and so many amazing novels or so amazing publications. Read what it really grabs you. So sometimes people come in the store and they really want a recommendation, and that cannot be atomized. That you have to have that personal touch.
So if anybody was thinking about going to your store over a bigger chain store, what would you tell them why it would be better to go to you, other than just for the sale?
Because if this continues, we will not gonna be there.
Okay.
And what about your children? What about the next generations? We need to continue supporting those independent businesses, especially bookstores or anything related to arts, because otherwise we will not make it. And again, we need that support. And I'm grateful that we're still here 30 years. October, we will turn 30 years. We probably have a small celebration.
I hope so.
Next year, we'll have some promotions to celebrate that amazing passage.
So do you have any plans on retiring soon? Do you want to retire?
How long as I can drive that Coronado Bridge. No, not soon. Not soon. No.
I wouldn't think so.
No. I like what I do. I paint also. So
Oh,
that's
really?
my Tuesdays is painting day.
Wow.
But the rest of the time, I'm at the bookstore.
What is it you don't do?
A little bit of everything. You know what they say. If you stop, you have to keep going.
Right.
As long as we have the strength, we keep going, and we're still young. I mean, they say that 60 says the new 40s. I believe that.
Are you trying to say I look 60?
If we are 60, it's a new 40.
Angelica Muller, it's been an honor to finally have you on my podcast. and I would love to help out more any way we can. You said you're a nonprofit. Does anybody ever give you donations?
No, actually, people, when we were moving, people asked us if we wanted to set up a GoFund page because it was such a crazy year, Brent. You cannot imagine what we went through. A sleepless night. I said, I'm not going to make it. We opened the store on April of 2020. So you can imagine. We opened, and a month later, we had to close. And we still have that huge rent. So I was just panicking. Thank God, we received some support from the chamber. We received some support with the PPP loans. But other than that, we just have to go through it and make it and hang in there. And our employees were amazing. Our employees said we reduce our hours. We just have the skeleton crew. But it's been such a crazy ride. We're just glad that it's almost over. And again, we're still here. We're still here. And I hope we're going to be here for a long time.
Well, you're wonderful. I love your store. I love what you're doing, and I look forward to seeing some of your paintings.
Thank you very much, and stop by to see us, both of you.
Okay, we're going to set up a meeting with you.
Okay? One-on-one.
Okay. Gracias.
Send you a big hug. Bye-bye.
Yes, thank you, love.
Thank you.
Angelica Muller with Bay Books, Coronado. Support her bookstore, support the independent bookstores. They are a diamond, and we need to protect them. Right, Sarah? She's shaking her head. Absolutely. And thank you for what you do. And of course, I want to thank my sponsors because they help me keep my electricity on. Attorney King, Sequan Casino and Resort, which we're doing a gigantic Halloween party October 1st to have a magazine launch for Lee Steinberg, the real Jerry Maguire. It's going to be a fun event at the Grant Hotel, that very old, beautiful hotel in downtown. And then I want to also thank, of course, Nikki Rottens for all the great things and all the support and love they give us, and for being a great sponsor of my show. And I would also like to thank Marina Teal with IB Fitness. Great place to go if you can't get a workout in. You have little fobs. You can go inside and work out 24 hours, and there's nobody there, but you can help yourself. No robotics. Everybody take care. Remember, be nice to each other, and let's make each other better by love and supporting each other. Everybody have a great weekend.